Hello, this is Danielle Ireland with Healing Hearts of Indie, and today I want to talk to you about self-care. Recently, I had a client come into my office and she sat down and she was exhausted. And she was just kind of like sitting there looking up at the ceiling and she was like, Danielle, how do I know if I'm doing self-care right? And I tell you, hearing her ask that question that way, like, she was exhausted by self-care, and I have totally been there myself. So what I really want to explore with you today, and hopefully give you some new insight into look into, is what does self-care actually mean to you? What does it look like? What does it not look like? And is it helpful for you or not? So how do you know if you're doing self-care right? Well, this is going to sound probably pretty basic and overly simplistic, but how do you feel when you're doing it? So some examples of self-care that I hear people refer to a lot, or even that I see on social media or I see on helpful blogs, is meditation, walking, yoga, exercise, vacations, pedicures and manicures, massages, lemon water, cleanses, juicing, right? There's lots of different forms of self-care, living your best life, being healthy, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's also easy to get lost in all of the things that we should be doing, should being the operative word, should be doing to take care of ourselves. And here's kind of the bottom line. If someone thinks that meditation, cleanses, silent retreats, and yoga is self-care to them, and someone else doesn't, is self-care the action or self-care how you feel? My personal take, and this is an evolution because I've tried forcing myself to fit into all these narrow boxes of what healthy living and self-care should be. I think if you feel exhausted by doing all of the things you think you should be doing to be taking care of yourself, you're probably not taking care of yourself. It's probably not self-care that day. Sometimes self-care for me is also Netflix on Sundays, eating comfort food. The other day I was craving macaroni and cheese, and that was self-care to me. Now, that may not be self-care in the eyes of some guru in an ashram on top of a mountain. It may not be what Oprah's talking about on Super Soul Sunday, although, I mean, she's pretty wise. She might be talking about it, but do what serves you. If it's self-care for you, chances are you're going to be feeling better. You're going to be feeling lighter. We hold tension in our bodies, particularly when we feel like we have to do something we don't want to do. So maybe one day for you, self-care is going for an hour-long walk, completely connected to nature. You're not listening to anything. You don't have your phone on you. You're completely by yourself. And then you try doing the very same thing the next day, and for some reason it just isn't working for you the way that it did the day before. Maybe you need something different that day, and maybe that's okay. So my encouragement to you is honor what feels good. The best way to know if you are doing self-care right is if you actually feel better when you do it. If you don't, switch it up and give yourself permission to try something new. I know that for a long time, I got caught in yoga had to be self-care, particularly super hot, sweaty yoga. And it felt amazing. I mean, I felt like I was wringing out my joints, wringing out all my body, my muscles, my tension. I left feeling completely drained, but also I felt completely lighter because I had no stress. A month later, circumstances in my life changed. Things got pretty hectic and tense. That level of heat no longer made me feel better after the fact. If actually, I started to feel worse, and I kind of worked myself into dehydration and migraines because I just wasn't listening to my body, and I wasn't honoring what self-care was for me. Self-care for me at that time became taking 20-minute cat naps, listening to podcasts, doing more cooking, and spending more time with my dogs. That became self-care, and now self-care to me looks even different today. So please, please, please honor what feels good to you. Self-care is truly what feels like it's caring for you, not a list of things you should be doing to staying healthy. And if you have more questions and you want to discuss this with me further, you are welcome to email me at danielle@healingheartsofindie.com. You can also leave a comment on this video in the link below, and we would love to hear from you. And if there are any questions that you'd like us to explore more, either through blogs or this video format, let us know. Thank you so much for watching and giving some of your time with me, and hopefully I will catch you soon in another video.